Hello and welcome back again. Another time here with Ryan Eller, the MIST Program Coordinator for the Instructional Science and Technology Program at Cal State Monterey Bay. So we're now to the third section of the application, the supporting information section, and this is a super fast section. So if you click on the supporting information section, you'll see that there is solely one tab for our program, and that's the experiences tab. If you click on the experiences, you're going to be given the opportunity to add potential experience that you think is valuable to your application. So this could include everything from work experience to internships to maybe academic experiences that aren't necessarily found on a transcript, if that makes sense. So maybe like a very significant project, things like that. Any experience that you think is going to maybe not be reflected within your transcript or within your resume, this section is a great place to kind of throw in some additional extra information, awards, things like that, okay? Now, they say here to not include summer and part-time work not relevant to your career academic goal. I don't think that's necessarily true. I'm cool with you sharing any, and I would say the faculty as well, are more than happy to see any experience that you think is relevant to share. And that's probably really how this should read, is that this is information that you're using to bolster your admissions case that isn't going to be shared in your statement of purpose, resume, or other parts of the application. And so this is kind of a catch-all category. If you don't want to add anything because you think your resume, statement of purpose, and other pieces of your application will fulfill those needs, just click on not adding any experiences. And in many cases, this is probably the best option. If you do have something that you think is highly relevant to your application, and this once again might be most beneficial to those who aren't meeting admissions requirements in some way, let's say 2.5 GPA or lower, or if you plan on fulfilling your English proficiency in a way outside of a test. So let's say you've had multiple years working in the US and you're going to use that to share how you're fluent in English, then adding that as an experience may be relevant. So anyways, let's pretend that we are going to add an experience. So we'll click something. We'll click the we'll click the add experience button. So we'll click that, and then you'll have a variety of options here, which are employment, internship, or volunteer, okay? And so, for example, if you are gonna add something that's an award, you would just probably put it under one of those three categories that makes the most sense. In this case, we'll just pretend like we're adding a job, so employment, and then the name of the institution, so I'll just say CSUMB, just like if I was sharing my work information here, and then I would share where I'm at. You can share the address information if you want to, but it's not terribly critical. So here we go. Once again, it's in California. Then you can share some of your supervisor information if you think that's relevant. But once again, not a necessity because we're not necessarily going to go in and double check that information unless it's some type of experience that's relatively grandiose and that we would want to double check in. But that's pretty darn rare, to be honest. Okay, so then you would fill out the experience dates here, and I'll save you guys the trouble of having to watch me do this, but you would fill out your experience dates, kind of if you're currently doing it, what the status is in terms of was it a full-time opportunity, was it a temporary opportunity, things like that. Very self-explanatory. From there, you would want to really focus more so than anything on the description and key responsibilities. What were you really doing, and how is that bolstering your MIST application? How does it really better your expertise towards the instructional science and technology or fields that you would be studying? Or more importantly, how does it also highlight your ability to work with others, work with teammates, work with faculty, things of that nature, okay? So then if you want to allow us to contact said place, you would say yes. If no, then no. And naturally, we just wouldn't contact them then. But by and large, the likelihood that we will contact them is quite slim. So it's really up to you. Anyways, that's how you would fill out that if you were going to share an experience. But for the purposes of our kind of fake application here, I'm just going to go ahead and select I am not adding any experiences. And I'd say for most, I'd recommend to do the same, unless you really just feel like there's, as I've said before, there's something that's very specific that you want to share that you don't have space on the resume to share. Okay, so simple section. With that in mind, you could be done in as much as 2 or 3 clicks, and you would be on to the final piece of the application, the program materials section.